Afternoon there, collective. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday afternoon so far. We're going to go ahead and get right into the reading. Today is the 18th of July, but this reading is for whenever it is that you actually watch it, whether it's tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 10 years from now, whenever. That's when it is for you, okay? That's how this divination actually works. We're all on different timelines, all of us. So with that being said, and keep in mind also, we're in the middle of, well, actually not in the middle, we're just going into Mercury retrograde in Leo. So that's going to give us a sense of perhaps our thoughts being clear, but our expression of those thoughts maybe not perceived so clearly. So, confusion, and again, not being understood properly sometimes may be a part of all of this. Patience is needed during this time as well, and this is a time really to go within, seek your truth, ask questions of yourself. I mean, what's typically called the shadow work. Really, this is a time to reevaluate all of those shadows and really question, life's many decisions, your many thoughts about things, and so on and so forth. I'm not an astrologist, not by any stretch of the imagination. I've read a couple of books on the subject so far. A couple of them are pretty in-depth, complex. I need to invest more time into it, but I did do a little research on it today, and just tried to cut to the chase instead of making something that's otherwise very complicated. I tried to make it as simple as I can in terms of this. This is a time to be patient. This is a time to reflect and go within, okay? And realize, some of the things that may be happening outside of you may be because of the way things are being interpreted during this time period. All right, so with that being said, let's just go ahead and get right into the energy, utilizing the tarot. So we're going to go ahead and do that first and foremost. And then we'll get cooking. Do our runes and all of that. We normally do. I hope everybody's going to have an enjoyable weekend this weekend. What kind of plans y'all have out there? You guys gonna go to the river, to the lake, to the ocean, up in the hills, just hang out at home, Netflix and chill? What's on the agenda for you? What's on your itinerary? Just let me know if you want it. If you don't, that's fine too. But I am curious as to what you guys are out there who are watching are up to. All right, one more please, and then we'll cut the deck. Whoops. Man. Can I get the energy for today, please? And thank you. Energy for today for my collective. All right, now. All right, so at the bottom we have the 8 of Wands or staffs. That means something coming in quickly. Expect things to move very rapidly, haste, fast progress, quick growth, excitement. These are all the bullets for this particular energy. That's good. That's what we want. We want to get this show rolling, right? All right, so I'll keep that for the bottom. And let's see, on the top we have the 8 of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles. That talks about focus diligently. God, I can't even speak. On your craft and so on. Possibly a new career or going back to school is in the cards. Evaluate, like I said, at the beginning of this, to really go within and look at your goals. Are they in line with what it is you think your life's purpose actually is? Or are you just doing what you think you're supposed to because you're trying to make other people happy in your life, because maybe you get a good paycheck? You'll be blessed so much more once you figure out what you're supposed to do and start pursuing it. You may not make a lot of money at first, and I really don't have the proof in my own journey right now. I mean, I went from being a Marine to a teacher and everything else, and from that to my current state. And but I just started this journey very, very recently in terms of really going full in. So, and again, from a Christian perspective, God would rather you're either hot or cold instead of being lukewarm. And most people today, at the very best, are lukewarm. And what did he say he was going to do with those who are lukewarm? He's going to spew them out of his mouth. Now, that's Christianity, of course. There are some mirrored sentiments in some of the other world's belief systems. There are, but, I'm spiritual. I go with my gut and what I truly believe with all of my research, with all of my meditation, with all of my prayers, and the fact that I know I'm being led from above. Okay? I know that we have to balance out our spirituality and take it far more serious than we have. Most people think by just simply going to church on Sunday alone is enough, and it's not even close to being enough. By being part of a club, you think you've earned your way into some form of spiritual godliness or proficiency or anything like that. I mean, it's as important as feeding your body and exercising your body or nurturing your physiology as well as your psychology, in terms of finding happiness in little things, prayer, meditation, all those kinds of things to balance life out, because obstacles do come. And if we dwell on some of this, on the negativity only, it does have an impact on our physiology and also our spirituality. This is why balance is essential. Okay? All right, so what is the next card, please? The Lovers. We're seeing this particular subject matter being brought up quite a bit over the last 2 weeks in particular. And we know that we have a divine union coming in. We also know we have a wolf in sheep's clothing coming in. We may have more than one person coming in. Remember, you're going to be tested before you get to move on to the next. At the bottom, we have something reflecting the Lovers. It's amazing. It's take time to rest and enjoy. It also talks about romance and tranquility, family, prosperity, and harmony. 4 of Wands. So, wow. Lots to say about this love that's coming in, you guys. We know we've got some tests and everything else, but as long as we pass our tests, we have nothing but good things coming into us. All right, one more, please. One more energy for today for my collective. One more. One more energy for my collective, please. One more energy. One more shuffle. And thank you. All right. So, the Tower. Now, the Tower, it can be a very bad energy in some circumstances and situations. But remember now, we have to have an end before we can have a beginning. So a tower could also indicate the end of a cycle, and that's what we're hoping for. Some people are going to be going, this is the end, basically, in some cases, for a 10-year cycle. Do you really want to relive a 10-year cycle where you have people lying, cheating, stealing, manipulating, slandering, and all of those types of things? Or do you want to live in prosperity and, actually evolve into a higher state of being? Physiologically speaking, spiritually speaking, and of course, psychologically, mentally, all that kind of stuff. The Tower can be brought or bring sudden changes to us, as you would imagine a tower doing. It could be loss, it could be painful, it can be very confusing and disastrous. But again, in order for the new to come in, the old has to be first removed. So it's not a bad energy, in spite of the negative connotations of the bullets. Now at the bottom we have the 4 of Swords. 4 of Swords we pulled yesterday as well, and it means being mentally and emotionally overwhelmed, feeling stress and anxiety, perhaps drained, feeling fear, a sense of burnout. That's what I was feeling yesterday. I'm not fearful about anything. I've been through some pretty horrendous things in my life, survived 2 wars, and I had things happen as a civilian that have been even more traumatic. And it's been difficult. I'm not fearful of any of it, but I have had a sense of feeling burned out and exhausted. Okay? So if anybody needs prayer out there, like I said, let me know. All right? So the energies overall are good, very good in terms of love. And we also have the end of a cycle I've been telling you about is coming up, which means there will be a test first. Or it could be, plural, not just singular, depending on, what type of cycle you yourself are getting out of and the lessons you still have to learn or, had to learn in this particular cycle, I should say. All right, now with that being said, let's go ahead and pull out the energy for today in terms of the runes. See what they have to say. Remember now, we were all clear sailing and everything else until yesterday. And as forecasted on Sunday, when Thursday came, things were going to take a turn, and they certainly did in terms of energy yesterday. Every rune we pulled yesterday was in the reversal, all negative. So that meant we were clearly being warned of obstacles, that wolf in sheep's clothing we've been hearing a lot about, and to persevere. Again, just to be courageous and strong during this time. Now, with that being said, I need the present energy for my collective, please. Wooden, 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 wooden. I call out to Odin 9 times in reverence and respect for the 9 days and nights that you hung from the world tree to gather the information, the magic, and the mystery of the runes. Please share with us that mystery for my collective. Give us clarity and concise message that they can apply today. Thank you. What is the energy present? Present energy. Wow, it's the actual energy pulled for today. I should have gone over this. So let's do this. This is now this. All right. So the energy, the pre-energy that's pulled for today, which is Friday, and I pulled it on Sunday, was Nalthis. Friday, and that's Nalthis right there. And the rune that we pulled today, right now, for the present energy is Nalthis. Now we've done this 3 times this week. For the energy that we called out on Sunday, for a particular day actually comes out as that present energy. That's pretty amazing. And again, it's because this is genuine, this is real. This is not a parlor trick or anything like that. Everything in our universe is energy. Now what does Nalthis mean? Nalthis means needs, the need for patience again. What we've already been talking about in terms of these cards that we just pulled. Talks about patience, okay? All your needs are known by the universe. You will always have what you need. You may not have all that you desire. As Gandhi said, there's plenty for everybody's needs in this world, but not for everybody's greed. And I would say that's pretty true. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. I believe that there's plenty for everybody to have, even beyond what they need, so that they can truly enjoy this world in its utmost capability. But there are a few who have hoarded far more than they'll ever be able to use or need or anything else, and they've done it through very, very dark means. Their time is coming. This is why we are here. This is why the chosen ones, 144,000 star seeds, the elect, whatever you want to give it in terms of a title. If you believe this in your heart is what you are here to do, and you are part of this army, then you are going to be part of making this change. And whatever it is that you've been given as a gift to present and share into this world, it will be very beneficial. It doesn't matter whether you're a seamstress, whether you're a chef, whether you're a warrior, what does it matter? Whether you're a prayer warrior, every one of those things is essential. And you've been given that gift to use in the collective to make this work. We have to work together because, again, we are 144,000, more or less, okay? I don't know if that number is absolutely correct. I have no way of saying. It's a number found, of course, in biblical references, but it's also found in numerology in many levels, too. It's found within ancient numerological accounts, like in ancient Mesopotamia, Babylon, Akkadian, things like that. And it's found in very, more modern, but still very ancient belief systems in terms of both the Atlantean, many other esoteric and, if you will, hermetic works, cultic today. So now this also means delays, resistance. It means, again, the kinds of things that lead to a greater strength. Again, just like anything else, you have to tear your muscles down in order for them to be built back up. But that only happens during rest. So think of the things that I'm saying in reference to that. That's what this means. The things that are happening are not a punishment. They're helping you to become stronger and more capable to handle those types of things that happen again and more if necessary. It makes you stronger psychologically, spiritually, physically, emotionally, okay? So that's what Nalthus means. Can I get an influence today, please? An influence from my collective. What is an influential energy that we need to be made aware of? And thank you. Influential energy, please. Thank you. We haven't seen this one in a very long time. This is Berkana, and it's in the upright. That's good. Okay, Berkana is found in the third group, family, or Ayat. Nalthus is found in the second group, family, or Ayat, which is under Heimdall, the warrior god, the one who guards the gates of Asgard. This one is under Tyr, the sky god of justice, of righteousness, and fairness, and so on. Now, what Berkana is, it represents the great goddess Birchka, okay? She's the great mother goddess, if you will. It's also representative of the great birch tree. Again, a lot of the things that they did were, or reverenced, were of nature. They were nature worshiping type of, paganistic religion, if you will. Fertility is also represented by this. New beginnings and healing. Birth, the great mother goddess, and desire. Okay? So all very, very good qualities. It goes along well with these two cards, specifically the Lovers and the Four of Wands. Talks about romance, talks about love and harmony and family and passion, relationships, that kinds of things. Very good stuff. All right, another influence, please. Another influence for the collective. What else do they need to be aware of? So far, the energy is very, very positive for us. Okay? Damn it, again. All right, so we pulled this one yesterday. This is Uruz in reverse. Uruz comes from the very first Ayat group or family, and this one is under, Freya, the goddess of fertility, abundance. She's a warrior goddess too, and the wife of Odin. So what Uruz in reverse means is like weakness, illness, sickness, weak will, toil, ignorance, and lust. So it looks like we have, if you will, balancing energies. One very positive with Berkana, one negative with Uruz in reverse, and Nalthus being the center, the yin and yang in perfect harmony. That is our present energy. So as long as we're aware of both the good and the bad, we can always find that balance. And again, that's what the secret is of our life and our existence, I believe. And this is my opinion, but it comes from looking at things from a religious, a spiritual, an occultic, a hermetic, and using my many years of prayer and also meditation. This is where I have come in my journey. Some would argue that you don't have to balance anything out. I would debate with them on that issue. Everything in the occult seems to point to that as well. And I use the pillars of the world tree and, of course, Judaism, and in particular within their esoteric brand of Judaism, the Kabbalah, and also in the Reciprocity, where they have the three pillars, and the one in the middle is the one that goes to the heavens. The one on the left and the right, they don't make it to heaven. They're not balanced. Okay? So I do believe that's one of the things that I'm here to teach. The balance is what we're here to try to produce. You're balancing your spirituality with your materialistic, attributes, traits, characteristics, and then you are extremely healthy individual. It's like being a warrior, but not needing to go out there and show everybody your warrior prowess. Only using it in the most appropriate times and ways. Having a sense of morality and balance. It's like the old saying, it's better to be a warrior working in a garden than a gardener working in a war, if you will. One can be easily learned and handled. The other takes a lifetime of learning to become. Being a warrior, although some people are born with certain attributes and traits that are more in line with that, and same thing with leadership. Some people say leaders are born, not made. I disagree completely with that. Although I do believe some people are born with certain characteristics, traits, and attributes that are more in line, and it can be fine-tuned to become very, very good leaders indeed, no doubt about it. I think that we have to find balance in all things, okay? Unless you're an extremely old soul, you've learned a lot of lessons through a lot of prior lives, the odds of that happening for you are slim to none. You have to learn these things. It takes an effort in our life to do these things, okay? And remember, our goal is to get back to center, or get back to spirit, get back to source, what we truly are. We are energy beings of light. And that's also echoed again in some of the most esoteric and ancient writings and so on. Even in Christendom, if you look at the Gnostic text, it talks about that very specifically. Okay? All right, so we have the balance that's being shown in today's runes so far for us, with very good things if we actually apply that information. What is the future energy, please? Future energy for my collective, please, and thank you. Future energy, thank you. Future energy. Well, I saw. It's another yin and yang type of rune. Think in terms of, the Game of Thrones. They call it fire and ice, right? Well, that's what this basically denotes. This is the ice side of it, but it works in balance perfectly, and the fire melts the ice, which produces the very beginnings of the Norse, if you will, creation story, the pantheon of, the great bull and the gods that emerge from all of that. So that's what this means. But it means also that you could feel a sense of feeling in stasis, or not having a clear ability to make a concise decision at this point, or what have you. And it also tells you to go within. Once again, just like the last runes that we got with the tower, and my explanation of going into Mercury retrograde tomorrow. Okay, that energy is already upon us. So you can look more about that kind of stuff online. I said I'm not an expert on the astrological aspects of things. I'm learning, and I don't want to make any presumptions or pretend to be something I'm not, okay? But the energy is very, very good all around, guys. But we are in a yin and yang type of, energetic field right now. We could easily, by making the wrong decisions or having the wrong mindset, go over to the negative side at this point. That's what it's saying. We're very much at a point of stasis or balance. So be careful with the decisions you make throughout the day and think about them before deciding or before actually applying what that decision might be, okay? All right. Now let's go ahead and look at some hidden truth, or actually let's look at what the animal kingdom has to say to us. I just heard something today about, one of my readers, one of the readers that I like, it basically told me that I have a spirit animal that's one of the deceased pests that I had, just happened to be a cat, and I never said anything about that to this person. And I just happened to have some cats that I had a very, very close relationship with. I mean, very close. One I used to play hide and seek with every morning. I'd get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and make my coffee, and I knew that cat would be hiding somewhere. I mean, he'd hide at the top of the shelves and just pounce in front of me to scare me, or he'd be hiding in the bathroom as I walked by in the hallway, and he'd stick his little claws out there to get me as I'm walking by. But he played that game with me consistently every day. His name was Ninja. And all my cats, they always loved and stayed, and they hibernated on my chest, and they would purr and they'd put me to rest and made me feel very relaxed. So there was a yin and yang relationship between them. I made them feel comfortable, and they made me feel comfortable. And I miss them. I love them. So he said that one of them is watching over me, wanted me to know that they're happy where they are and very content and all that kind of stuff, and they wish the best for me. So, I mean, it was nice to hear. So that's why I want to share these kinds of things with you too. Can I get an animal, please? What do the animal kingdom have to say to my collective? We have raccoon. I don't know about you, but I think they're very, very cute. Very mischievous, very smart. And I've seen some hilarious videos about raccoons. There's a couple of places I've camped. One place over by Santa Cruz in particular. It's right on the beach. And sometimes the beach itself is closed because of great white sharks out there and so on. They do have them out there. But they have raccoons, big fat raccoons too. They're in all the big trees that are out there. So you literally have to put your food inside of a locker, a food locker they have at most of the campsites. Or if you don't, they'll get them. I tell you, they're very smart. So even the food lockers, they've managed to figure out how to get into. But anyways, that's why it's not at all surprising that the word inventor is coming to mind with this, because they are very clever creatures. So it says, decide on what you really want. It says, you have the ingenuity to claim it. I'm sorry, it's very, very small print, and it's hard to read font. It says, avoid being the trickster and practice integrity. Always be integral. Remember now, who you are is what you do when you think nobody is watching, and how you respond in certain things. Not what you do when there's people there to observe. Okay? That's who you really are. Practice being that person always. Okay? That's what integrity is. You have many roles and can juggle them well. All right. So I know I had to struggle through that, but it's hard to read. All right. So raccoon, that's an excellent one. I love raccoons. I've always wanted a pet raccoon. They look like little bandits, don't they? They always have that little black ring over their eyes. All right, let's get some hidden truths, please. Get ready to close this out. Okay, can I get some hidden truths for my collective, please? Hidden truths for the collective. Thank you. Hidden truths for the collective. What are some hidden truths for the collective? What do they also need to know? What can help them? And love, just information to keep them safe in their journey, and more productive. what can you show us for today, please? Thank you. All right, so first card. You and I were too young. I think we got this about 3 weeks ago. All right. So somebody out there that you had a relationship with, partnership with. Usually this is about love, and since everything is indicating love, I would have to say that's what this is actually talking about as well for most of you. But somebody you had an earlier relationship with, maybe somebody you still think of today. And there's nothing wrong with remembering certain aspects of other relationships. We learn from all of them, right? And it's not a betrayal of the person you're with today, as long as you're not longing on it or longing for them. That would be borderlining being, if you will, unfaithful to the person you're with. Remember, your thoughts, they also count, okay? In fact, everything that you do starts with a thought, so keep that in mind. And again, in Christendom, you're going to be judged upon every one of those thoughts, as well as every one of your words. Can I get one more card, please? So always walk in integrity. You always have a clear conscience, and in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, it talks about weighing your heart against a feather. That's how you can have a heart that is light as a feather, by always doing the right thing. And it's not always easy, but it's so important. It's so worthwhile, so fulfilling. Okay, one more card for my collective, please. What else do they need to know? Another hidden truth for the collective, and thank you. One more. Thank you. I want to tell you how I feel. All right, well, somebody's coming in that we know. We know there's at least 2 people coming in, presumably. One definitely is going to be a divine union, whether it's romantic or a partnership that's going to be very, very beneficial, a friendship, whatever the case may be. Hopefully it's one and the same. I mean, a divine union is going to be like that. You're going to be best friends. You're going to be partners in crime, the whole 9 yards. All right, so, but we also have, again, the wolf in sheep's clothing that we've been warned about for 2 weeks straight. So you have to be wise. And again, there's always a test before the end of a cycle. I have to face that as well. So choose wisely. Now, with that being said, let's actually look into the love oracle to close this out. Love. Now, this talks about love not just for those who are single, but also those who are already in relationships, even those who don't want to be in a relationship. Maybe they're just getting out of a relationship and they still need advice. These kinds of cards, they talk about all those things. So let's see, whoever needs the most to hear about this subject today, please, for my collective. What do they need to know, Lord? Thank you. Okay, the chaser. Chaser is codependent, okay? Again, this would be that wolf in sheep's clothing. One is coming back. It's going to try to love bomb. Fear of being abandoned, abandonment issues. And this comes back to unresolved childhood issues. Your inner child. We've all had damage done to us being raised or misraised, in our childhood. And we went through things where we didn't feel loved enough. We were sometimes abused, ignored. Maybe we were given up as a young child. And if we do not learn how to come to terms with those things, you're not going to get it out there. It's something you have to deal with inside. Now, there is help that you can get to deal with those things, but it's something you have to resolve. Otherwise, you're going to try to find the answers through other people or things outside of you, and it's never going to work. And it's never going to work. So you have to heal your inner child. We all do. And like I said, all of us have had, inner child damage. Some more severe than others, but we all have to deal with it, okay? All right. So it's not to be looked down upon that somebody's still suffering from that, even as an adult. It's something they have to be made aware of. And if they choose to ignore it, well, then it becomes their issue. It becomes, well, let's just say that life itself is going to have to teach them the hard way. That's what karma is, in fact. It forces us to learn whether we want to or not. If we're not willing to see the signs, if we're not willing to make the efforts, the universe is going to sit you down in a corner and it's going to make you listen. It does that to all of us. And it's not harsh unless you make it harsh. Okay? So when we're going through these very, very difficult lessons, I think if you really want to be honest with yourself, you can look back and see where you probably much, much earlier on could have done something to correct that or keep that from happening the way that it did. I know I certainly can. And this is why I try to really examine my life every day. All right, one more love oracle, please. One more love oracle for the collective, please. Thank you. Well, we've seen this twice at least in the last 5 weeks. Cassette. Outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over in your head. Now, again, this seems to be that person who is, probably still thinking that they were too young when you guys first got together, and they want to tell you how they feel. This other person. And again, I don't want to tell you how you're supposed to respond or feel in any of this. I'm just giving you possibilities and some of the things that I myself personally have already gone through in the process of going through, okay? So I understand some of this. I'm not just speaking, on both sides of my mouth, so to speak. All right, so there you have it, guys. Lots and lots of really good information and energy, but we are at that yin and yang balance, and we want to maintain that balance. If you're not balanced, that's your goal. Figure out what's out of balance, reflect, especially also being Mercury retrograde and all of that, and find the way to get back into balance, okay? Whether it's balancing in a relationship, balance at work, balance with your play, balance with your children, balance with, your God, balance in all things. That's what we're looking at this week, okay? All right, so tomorrow closes out the week, as far as I'm concerned. Saturday's Sabbath. And I hope that these things have been a blessing for you, and, that they can resonate with you. And with that being said, exactly 38 minutes, I close this out. I wish you all victory. I will see you, of course, in Valhalla.